Alright guys, I'm going to do a quick video on how to put a wireless remote in your Mojos, not only just to control one Mojo, but two. You can buy a controller for one, and it's about $40 online, and if you want to do multiple Mojos at the same time, you'd have to have multiple remotes for every single Mojo you have. So there's a pretty quick and easy way, really inexpensive way of doing it yourself. It takes a basic knowledge of a little bit of electronics, and you pretty much can do it really easily and save yourself a ton of money. I think all in told, I think I put probably a total of $15 into setting up both of them. So here's kind of the how-to. We'll go after the Mojo itself first thing. I'll also do one on Lucky Ducks, but because they're both a little different. This is one of the Mojo decoys. It's got the on or off and ignition switch, just one two-way switch. What you're going to want to do is open it up, pull out the cord, and you want to grab, it already comes with this plug that's got the two looped wires. So you want to pull that plug off, and the first thing we want to do is establish what wires go to which. So you're going to look at the plug and see that rounded or that beveled edge on either end. We're going to look at it this way, and we're going to label it. I'm going to make it pretty quick and easy for you, so because I've already gone through this all, but you got the beveled edge. If you look at it this way, the first wire you've got is a positive. Second one you've got is a negative. The third one is going to be the positive that goes to the motor, and then the next one is going to be the negative that goes to the motor. All right, once you've got those marked, you're going to get your wire clippers, snip them right down the center. Okay, straighten them out, make it a little bit easier to strip them. Clean, still got the marks on them. Clean this up a little bit here. Okay, next thing you're going to do is, now what the kit that I purchased came with 2 receivers and 1 transmitter. The way it was originally programmed is A was to turn on A, and B was programmed to turn on B, but a buddy of mine who I'm doing this for, he wanted them both to be turned on by A, which is a really step-by-step process, which is given to you in the manual. Is a really good instructions. Makes everything pretty easy. They have a good layout for just about every one they have, and it shows you a couple options you have other than that. If you can get a good glimpse at that, there's a couple different modes you can program it to, and pretty much lay out the wiring so it makes it almost dummy proof. So I was able to set it up to program both of these switches or relays to run off of just the A remote on, or A button on the remote. B does nothing. So both of them just turn on with A, turn off with A. And there's a couple different options. You can change it to a bunch of different things. You can have a locking mode or a pulse mode. There's a bunch of different options here, and they show you how to reprogram it, and it's really easy. Pretty much I won't go too much into it. There's a bunch of videos on YouTube on how to do this also, but you're able to reprogram it right through. There's a program button right here and a couple LEDs that correspond with it, and it's pretty simple. But nonetheless, we're going to go through the process on how to get this together. Now I'll show you the one I've already done on the other end. Okay, pretty easy. Now that we're going to make sure we focus on the side that's got the bevel. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to combine our two red wires together. As you can see here, we're going to put them in the first port. Then we're going to put our ground, or our red or our negative, to the second one. And then our motor negative is going to be to the third one. And then we're going to put a loop. I don't know if you guys can see that real well. A loop is going to go from the fourth to the second. Okay. Now I took a little black wire, made myself a little loop. Fun piece that wasn't tore up. It doesn't need to be too big. As you can see, it's just a small loop to go from one side to the other. Alright, here's the loop. Okay, and then I just installed the loop ahead of time. All you got to do is back out the screws for each little port. Like I said, it goes the fourth and the second. Between those two. Back those out completely. So between the fourth and the second for the loop, and then we're going to put in okay, once that's in there, crank all the screws down. There you go. So now should look like this. Both of them look identical. All right. Okay, the next step we're going to take you into is bringing your unit from pieces and parts to one solid piece. Be water resistant, or whatever you want to say it. Wouldn't be completely waterproof, I think, solely because I didn't want to seal this all the way around in case I had to open it up for some reason. I don't foresee there being a reason need to, but it'll be mostly sealed up, so there won't be any sort of condensation to get into it. Pretty simple process, just got to do little modifications. Let's start with, I'm going to use this end. There's two sides. One's got a 2-port, the other one's got a big long open port. I use this end, it's just a lot less trimming. We're going to pull the antenna out. Just be sure not to pull it off of the board itself. Put a nice little curved bend here, so I'm going to put a lot of stress on that solder. And this antenna is going to come out the top eventually. And before you put this all together, this little square in there. I don't know if you see it. It sits completely flat on top of the relay, so you're going to want to cut out this little elevated piece, so that way your antenna can go out that hole without being pinched between the relay. So what I do is just take a pair of wire clip snips, wire cutters, cut a piece here, cut it here. Pretty much just falls right out of there. So you got a nice open channel for that to go through, and you don't pinch it and possibly have some fall off on you in the future. All right, so put it all together, and you do a couple test fits. Okay, see, we're kind of a little tight there. Make sure the wire is free to move, so it's not pinched. And then these are good. All right. And really, it's you don't need to put a lot on there. So then you just kind of pour a bead on there. You let it cool for a couple seconds. Then I'm going to pull a bead that's going to bind to it on the other side. Let it cool, and how you hold it is going to dictate which way it flows. So if you were to hold it like this, it's going to start flowing back inside. You hold it like this and you just rotate it as it cools, and it starts to seal, as you can kind of see in there. It starts to seal around each individual wire, and then we're just going to build layers on top of that. So once we get the first layer down, okay, so we're going to do the same thing up by the antenna. I'm going to give the antenna a little bit of slack so it's not so tight. And really, it's less is more with this kind of stuff. So we're going to do the same thing here, just build on layers. So we'll keep working on this. Got both of our receivers set, good to go. They've got their antennas. We're going to put a little piece of Velcro on them. This way we can mount it inside there and won't be jumping around on us. Pull that off here. Okay. We'll put the Velcro on, and then we'll put it inside. But what we'll do, just to show you guys how it works, we'll plug into the Mojos here. This one's already got a battery in it. We'll plug in the switch. Okay, and then we'll plug in the switch on this one. Okay, now best way to show you this. So now they're both plugged in. I'm bring the Mojos over here so you get a view. See this rotators are the wing sections on both of them. Try to get in the view here. Okay, so now I'm gonna turn the switches to on the Mojos. Okay. And as you can see in the remote, both of them turn on, both of them turn off. So that's it. I mean, it's pretty simple. What I'll do is for each one, I'll take I'll take the receiver and we'll put it inside of here, but I'm going to take the antenna and I'm going to run it inside the head of the Mojo itself, and then the wires we're going to route to the side, so that way we can get to it if we need it. But it's pretty simple. If you guys got any questions, feel free to